Good afternoon. Welcome to the February 13th City of Apopka Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. If you'd all please stand with me for a moment of silent prayer and a pledge to the flag. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. During tonight's meeting, if anyone from the public wishes to speak on a matter that is on the agenda, you will be given a specific time during that agenda item to come up to the podium and speak. If anyone has anything that's planning and zoning related that is not on the agenda, now would be the time to be recognized. Seeing none, we'll move on. Number one, meeting minutes from December 12th, 2023. Any corrections or changes? No, then we'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from December 12th, 2023.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Washington. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ryan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number two, meeting minutes from January 9, 2024. Any changes or additions? Seeing none, we'll bring it back for a motion and a vote.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes from January 9, 2024.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Mott. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Washington. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Right. Item number one, public hearing, quasi-judicial. Has anyone here had ex parte communication on this matter?
No.
No.
Very well. Change of zoning, ordinance number 3044-734 South Orange Blossom Trail. Applicant, Servants of God Ministry, Inc. Owners, Servants of God Industry, Inc. Location 734 South Orange Blossom Trail.
Good evening.
Sir?
Good evening. This is Junson Planner 2. This is an item for rezoning the property located at 734 South Orange Blossom Trail, requesting rezoning from transitional to community commercial for the place of worship development. The total size of the property is 0.65 acres. Future land use is commercial and its surrounding land uses are also commercial. The current zoning is transitional and surrounding zonings are community commercial and regional commercial. Development Review Committee has Okay. Development Review Committee has accepted it, and then recommended the motion is approval of the proposed change of zoning based on the findings and facts presented in staff report and exhibits. The staff and applicant are available to answer any questions. I'm really so sorry about that buffer.
Thank you. No problem. All right. Do we have any questions of staff?
No.
Okay. Is the applicant here and do they have a presentation? Would they like to speak?
You want to make a presentation? You want to? Or
If you have to speak, sir, you have to come to the podium so I can hear you.
You don't have to.
yeah, he doesn't have to.
If you would please give us your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. Michael Harrison, 1706 East Cimarron Boulevard, Suite 116, Apopka, Florida. Property address is 734 South Orange Blossom Trail, Apopka, Florida also. Just want to use this opportunity to, in anticipation, to say thank you. That's all.
Okay.
And
Does
if there are
anyone have
any
questions of the
question?
applicant?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hang on, sir. Does anyone have questions of the applicant? No, thank you, sir.
Were you
Oh,
about to
go
say
ahead.
something?
No, I'm
Did
okay.
you finish? Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to find the proposed change of zoning from T transitional to CC community commercial, consistent with the comprehensive plan and land development code, and compatible with the character of the surrounding areas. Recommend approval of the proposed change of zoning based on the findings and facts presented in the staff report and exhibits.
Thank you, sir. Motion by Commissioner Washington. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Ryan. All in favor, say aye.
Mr. Chairman, I may have missed it, but I just want to make sure that we had public comment. I know that we had
I
invited the
skipped right
applicant.
by it, didn't I? I apologize. Okay, my mistake. Is there anyone here from the public wishes to speak on this matter? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board. Would you please redo your motion? You don't have to read the whole thing, just.
Certainly. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to find the proposed change of zoning from T transitional to CC community commercial, consistent with the comprehensive plan and land development code, and compatible with the character of the surrounding areas. Recommend approval of the proposed change of zoning based on the findings and facts presented in the staff report and exhibits.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Washington. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Ryan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Right. Number 2, quasi judicial. Has anyone had ex parte communication on this matter?
No.
No.
Change of zoning ordinance number 3045. Owners, Marilyn S. Brohan Trust. Applicants, Lowndes Law Firm, care of Logan Osball, Esquire. Location, 135 Hermes Smith Road. It's all yours.
This is an item for rezoning of the property located at 135 Hermes Smith Road, requesting rezoning from transitional to light industrial for the outdoor storage business. The total size of the property is 7.23 acres, and the future land use is industrial, and its surrounding future land use is also industrial. The current zoning is transitional, and surrounding zonings are PD, transitional, light industrial, and residential single-family 1A. Most of the surrounding properties are currently vacant, and there is a wetland on the west side of the property. DRC has accepted the approval of change of zoning, and the recommended motion is accepted for the first reading of City Council meeting. The staff and the applicant are available to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions of staff? Seeing none, does the applicant here and do they have a presentation? Okay. Do we have any questions?
No.
All right. Is anyone from the public wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. Find the proposal change of zoning from T transitional to IL light industrial consistent with the comprehensive plan and land development code and compatible with the character of the surrounding areas. Recommend approval of the proposed change of zoning based on the findings and facts presented in staff report and exhibits.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Mott. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Washington. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, special exception 2301 Coral Hill Road. Has anyone here had ex parte communication on this matter?
No.
Very well. Owners, HCH Development LLC. Applicant, Sarah Meyer, care of Dewberry Engineers. Location, 2301 Coral Hill Road.
This is an item for special exception at 2301 Coral Hills Road, requesting a special exception permit for outdoor storage as a principal use for their commercial vehicles, trailers, and equipment and tools for lawn and landscape company. The future land use commercial and current zoning is regional commercial, and outdoor storage is permitted in regional commercial zoning district with special exception. DRC has accepted and recommended the motion is accept this special exception permit to allow outdoor storage for their business. Staff member and applicant are available to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions of staff?
I do. So the.
Commissioner Washington.
Thank you, sir. So this special exception is actually not, it includes the outdoor storage as well as the 8-foot high opaque fences around the property as well. So you're asking, the applicant is asking for 2 exceptions.
So the fence permit will be applied in future, but we are
Yeah, the fence is that's a variance that is not covered by the special exception. That'll come at a later date.
For a variance for the fence? It just says that the request includes the proposed, it says it includes it, so I'm just reading how it's written.
so
It doesn't mean that, it
Right.
doesn't mean that.
Number 6, item E, will adequately screen, buffer, or otherwise minimize visual impacts on adjacent lands. So that would be part of this exception if it's listed in there, correct?
I would like to refer that question to.
Jim is under
Slotting maybe.
small letter C, number 1.
Yeah, I see that.
See
That I believe is the, I think that's part of the applicant's response. Yeah, that would have to be part of the applicant's response. They'd have to get a variance in order to do a 8-foot fence in the industrial.
Okay, so when we make this decision tonight, we're going to strike out that part where it says it includes proposed 8-foot fence?
Yes.
Okay.
It's primarily for the use in this case.
Okay.
All right, anyone else have questions? Okay. Jim, my question with this is, okay, if we're striking the use of that from here, there's a lot of the things are all based on the screening or the visibility from it. Further down, it says stacked or stockpile material located within 50 feet of a screening fence shall not exceed the height of the screening fence or wall. So it seems like a lot of these things are contingent on, we're changing this, making an exception to put it in that area based on it being hidden and the visibility. But if we take that screening issue out of there now, that seems like a whole different thing they're asking for. Or am I confused here?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. That a lot of the use is contingent upon the 8-foot fence, from what it sounds like, what they're working on. In this case, you could still recommend approval of the special exception, but it would be contingent upon the 6-foot fence. And then if they go for an 8-foot fence for a variance, then those requirements would still be applicable.
So they would be required to have the 6-foot fence regardless.
Regardless.
And so the 8-foot would be the next step up.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, on that point, Jim, well, in the request statement, it says special exception use permit to allow the use of outdoor storage.
Okay. But they haven't applied for that yet, right? Okay. Bobby just pointed something out to me. Again, the special exception, if it's approved, it would be regulated based on whatever size fence they've got. In this case, if it's a 6-foot fence, it would be a 6-foot fence. What they are planning to do is apply for a security exemption, which is administrative, to go to a 6-foot or to an 8-foot fence, but we have not gotten that. So at this stage, it would be applicable for a 6-foot fence, but if they get the security exemption, it would be applicable for the 8-foot fence at that stage. but you wouldn't have to, it would not have to come back to you for that portion. It would still be applicable for an 8-foot fence at that stage.
Right, but that seems like a cart and a horse thing, that the difference between a 6-foot fence and 8-foot fence to the adjacent properties could be quite a bit as far as visibility. Can you bring the map back up of that for us?
The special exception is still for the use itself.
understand.
If there's a 6-foot fence, that would be their limits.
And one of the reasons why I'm questioning that is that I know in the past, we have approved things of this nature. There's one I have particular in mind, but I don't know the address of the applicant, so I'm not going to mention it, where it was contingent on a fence and shielding from the public. And within 6 months, the shielding was gone, and there's things stacked 10 foot high over the fence. And I've driven by and looked at it numerous times in my travels. I drive by there, and every time I look, I think, well, okay, so that's a consideration in my mind, because of the fact that either we just don't address it, or code enforcement doesn't have the time to go after that, or for whatever reason, but we make the exception or the variance based on this criteria, and then the criteria is not followed. So
That's a
and
code
that's why
enforcement.
I'm concerned about the fence and the screening. When it's a fence with a tarp or whatever kind of screening they use, it deteriorates and goes away, and then what happens? Then
That's a
people
code
adjacent-
enforcement issue at that point.
Okay.
This is a little bit different than the one, I know exactly which one you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
This one does have basically the expressway on the north side, and then the small portion on the southern side is industrial for the one portion, and then there is that small commercial outlet on the
No, I understand
southeast
there's no
corner.
residential close to
Yeah.
it, so it's not as big an issue, but, okay. All right, thank
We
you.
had a discussion regarding the fence between city staff and the applicant is here, and if you'd like to hear her,
Okay. Absolutely. Any more questions of staff?
Well, I do, Jim. I don't want to belabor this thing.
I,
You know
I
that.
can't hear you. You need to come up to
I
the
don't want to belabor this conversation. But can we just, in the, where we say approve a special exception use permit to allow the use of outdoor storage, and can say, and the installation of an 8-foot high opaque fence, da-da-da-da-da-da? That's, right? Makes it whole then.
if it's approved by a security exemption plan.
Oh, all right. Just looking for a solution.
All right, thank you. The applicant here, and do they have a presentation?
Good evening, Sarah Meyer with Dewberry Engineers, here on behalf of the applicant, 800 North Magnolia Avenue, Orlando, Florida. I appreciate Earl's questions. It's been a great process working with staff. I do know that my client is very much in favor of an 8-foot fence, not only to screen from public view, vehicles and pedestrians going by, but for their own security purposes. Their trucks and trailers and equipment is often targeted for theft. And so they lock most stuff up in enclosures at night inside buildings, but the remainder of stuff does get left out, and they do their best to hold on to that. So we are asking for the 8-foot fence as part of the special exception. If that's a condition, you can tag on to the approval tonight. I know that special exceptions by code do allow up to 10 feet, 6 to 10 feet through a special exception, and we're asking for 8.
Very well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone here from the public wishes to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion.
Well, I think there's a problem with commercial vehicles. They need to have an 8-foot fence. So I don't think we can approve it without an 8-foot fence. Of course, then that's a variance, and it's not a special exception for the fence, correct?
Can we
You
approve it
you
with an exception if it is a variance for the 8-foot fence, or is that not an option?
Council, or pardon me, Commissioner, what I can say, at least in my understanding of right now and discussing this with staff, it would appear, and I haven't reviewed the code for these, so I'm just speaking of, of our discussions, that 6 feet is what is permitted by zoning. And that there is a process available to, whether it's by variance or through some other application process for a security exemption to go through to get to an 8-foot fence.
Hold on. Sorry. This is industrial, correct? Commercial. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it's still 6 foot. Okay.
So there is a limitation per the zoning, so that does require since ultimately special exception has to be in compliance with the zoning code, there needs to be another mechanism to get to that 8 feet. So there is a different process, but that's not part of the special exception process.
So we approve it as 6 foot.
For the time being.
Yes.
What does that mean for the time being? It's
And
either approved or it's
it's,
not approved.
they can use the 6-foot fence at this stage with even with the special exceptions for the use. If they come in and apply for a security exemption to allow for an 8-foot fence, lighting, barbed wire, whatever else, then that would be a staff recommendation or staff approval. And then at that stage, they could go up to 8 feet.
But they don't have to go for, once they get this approved, they don't have to go for an 8-foot fence because it's approved for a 6-foot fence, correct?
6-foot fence comes with the property, comes with the code. If they want anything higher, they have to, sorry, I keep pushing the button wrong. If they want to go higher, then in this case, it would be a security exemption based on the uses that they've got.
Yeah, but I think they need to go higher for commercial vehicles.
I get that, and that's why they're going to apply for that. Definitely.
So they say.
Yeah, I don't think there's any argument about the 8-foot fence. That makes sense. It's just this administrative thing that we have here. Can I say something to you? You know, with the recommended language here, it says recommend approval of the special exception to allow outdoor storage except the 8-foot fence, since it's written in here. And then keep on going with it. I just don't like to approve this thing, and that 8-foot fence is still in the document.
You can state the motion as approve the special exception without the 8-foot fence and be done with it.
Super.
And then we'll take care of the 8-foot fence with the security exemption.
Beautiful.
And Commission members, I have pulled up the relevant code with the security exemption. It's actually not a variance from a legal standpoint, but just simply an administrative submittal that they would need to submit that is made on the administrative level. So it doesn't need to be part of this board's decision.
Okay, so are you supporting what I said? That we were recommend a special exception to allow the outdoor storage without the 8-foot fence? Are you supporting what I'm saying?
Essentially, yes, because that's what the criteria is.
Okay,
So, subject to zoning requirements is exactly the way that you've couched the proposal.
thank you.
Now, so as a practical matter, when we approve it, it's approved with a 6-foot fence, and that's period. End of discussion.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then if they come back after the fact and ask to do the 8-foot fence for their own benefit or for shielding or whatever reason, then that's a different thing. So we have to make our decision based on it's going to be a 6-foot fence unless this is tabled and they go get the exception for the 8-foot fence and then come back. So we have to base our decision on we're approving that with a 6-foot fence, and it may be that forever 6-foot fence. Correct? Am I correct?
You're approving the special. You're approving the special exception for the use itself. The 6-foot fence comes with it. You don't even have to say anything
I
regarding
understand
that.
what I'm saying, but I'm saying that this is approving it with a 6-foot fence.
Yes,
Correct. And then if they decide not to put an 8-foot fence. and
That's
they
up to them.
apply, Then it's going to be a 6-foot fence. So we have approved this variance with a 6-foot fence.
special exception.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So we're gonna, right, that's it.
Yep.
So we have to make our decision based on that. And to me, if it was near a residential area or was a more more of a noxious use than I would probably be more concerned about it. I'm just trying to get the semantics right, so I understand what we're doing. But wouldn't this be a case where it would be better if they did that application beforehand, before it came in front of us? Is that?
If we worded it differently, yes. If we didn't, if we had not put in the, or left in the 8-foot fence, then yes, it would have been easier to just do the special exception for that use and be done with it, but the 8-foot fence is complicating it.
I understand. Okay, great. All right, thank you very much. All right. I think we already asked for public comments, so we're back to the board for discussion or a motion.
Well, as I said before, I don't want to keep on repeating myself. I just think that the motion should be modified to say, with the exception of 8-foot fence, and then we vote on it. That way it's clean.
I don't think we have that capability. Am I
Well,
correct?
we can change the motion.
No, you can modify the motion.
So we can modify the motion?
Correct. The best way to do it would be to have the original motion maker just,
Okay, well then
Modify
everything
the
that we discussed a minute ago doesn't apply. Okay. All right, very well. Sounds like a good idea.
Thank you.
Go get them.
So you're gonna put it on me now to make
It's
the
on
motion?
you. It's your idea.
You got it.
Thanks, fellas. Okay, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to recommend approval of the special exception to allow outdoor storage with the exception of the 8-foot fence as a principal use for commercial vehicles, trailers, equipment, and tools for landscape business as a primary use in the CR Regional Commercial Zoning District, subject to the exhibits and findings of the staff report.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Washington. Do I have a second?
So that's no 8-foot fence, right?
Correct. He stated that in
All right, just want to clear that up.
there. Okay. I need a second.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Mott. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,
Motion carries. All right, on to site plans. Quasi judicial, has anyone had any discussion on this matter?
No.
no, sir.
Okay. Madison Oaks MF3 parcel major development plan. Owners Kelly Park VB Development LLC, care of Kevin Berry. Applicants Kimberly Horn and Associates, care of Kevin M. Robertson. Location 3434 West Kelly Park Road.
Good evening, Jean
Ms.
Sanchez with the, Community Development Department. Kind of jumped the gun over there. This is a request to recommend approval of the Madison Oaks MF3 parcel major development plan. The subject property is located on 3434 West Kelly Park Road, the southwest corner of State Road 429 and Sadler Road, approximately 12 acres in size. The major development plan proposes the development of 9 apartment buildings totaling 325 multifamily units and 4 stories high on 12 acres within the interchange district overlay of the Wild Oaks development. This interchange district overlay is permitted a maximum of 1,008 residential units constructed based on the master plan and calculation provided in the Wild Oaks development agreement. Therefore, there are 686 units remaining within the interchange district overlay for Wild Oaks. On April 11, 2023, the Planning Commission granted a special exception use permit for multifamily uses in the interchange district as required by the form-based code. The site design comprises of apartment buildings adjacent to Sadler Road and Effie Drive rights-of-ways and abuts the Wild Oaks 10-acre open space amenity area on the southwest corner of State Road 429 and Sadler Road. The ingress-egress points are both on Sadler Road and Golden Gem Road. The parking lot is located internally, screening the screened by the apartment buildings. Madison Oaks includes its own amenity package that comprises of a clubhouse, pool, and a large passive green area centrally located within the complex. Sidewalks are located in the perimeter of the project area that connect to walkways to unit entrances. A pedestrian connection is provided in the northern portion of the complex, promoting pedestrian movement to the commercial pods of the Wild Oaks development. The site is currently vacant and mostly devoid of trees. The landscape plan proposes red maple, bunwood, and southern magnolia trees in the perimeter of the project area. Accent and parking lot trees consist of crepe myrtles, Japanese privet, and red maple trees. A variety of palm trees are sprinkled internally and adjacent to the building. The proposed architectural renderings meet the Kelly Park Interchange Form-Based Code as well as the development design guidelines. The DRC recommends approval. The recommended motion is to recommend approval of the Madison Oaks Major Development Plan, subject to the findings in the staff report. Staff and applicant are available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. Anyone have questions of staff?
No.
All right, is the applicant here? Do they have a presentation?
Chairman, no presentation.
Okay. Anyone have questions of the applicant?
No.
Very well. Does anyone from the public wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recommend the approval of the Madison Oaks MF3 parcel major development plan, subject to the findings in the staff report.
Thank you, sir. Motion by Commissioner Mott. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Washington. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Right. Another quasi judicial. Has anyone had ex parte communication on this matter?
No.
Request approval of the 1291 South Orange Blossom Trail Major Development Plan. Mr. Al.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman. Happy Mardi Gras to everybody tonight. So hope you celebrate very well this evening. We'll celebrate by going over a major development plan. A major development plan for 1291 South Orange Blossom Trail. It is a 103,449 square foot office warehouse development comprised of 7 buildings. As I'd stated before, it's located at 1291 South Orange Blossom Trail. Property is approximately 11.2 acres in size. Of the 11.2 acres, 3.5 are wetlands. Future land use and zoning maps are on the property or on the screen. Property zone light industrial has a future land use designation of industrial. The site will be accessed via a full access point leading into the site from US 441. Left and right turn lanes will be constructed leading into the site from 441. A total of 184 parking spaces are provided on site, 7 of which are accessible parking spaces. Stormwater is proposed to be discharged into a pond located on the southern portion of the site. 43% of the site is set aside as open space. This consists of stormwater, the preservation of the wetland area, and site landscaping. The Development Review Committee recommends approval, and the motion this evening is to recommend approval of the 1291 South Orange Blossom Trail Major Development Plan, subject to the findings in the staff report. Staff is available for questions. I do not believe the applicant is in attendance this evening.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions of staff?
No.
All right. If, the applicant isn't here, so does anyone from the public wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and a motion.
I'll just make a comment that I appreciate the fact that they have a 5-foot wide sidewalk along the 441 portion of this project. When you drive along 441, you see people on bicycles or walking, and half the time they're in the highway. So I'm very happy to see that they have this sidewalk there. Smart.
Yeah, that is required.
You couldn't have let him take credit for it. All right. So, anything else? All right. Need a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to recommend approval of the 1291 South Orange Blossom Trail Major Development Plan subject to the findings in the staff report.
Thank you, sir. Motion by Commissioner Washington. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Ryan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Do we have any old business? New business?
We have our joint meeting coming up after this. It'll be about 15 minutes after the gavel, after your gavel. They have to set them up.
Meeting adjourned.